Hello everyone, it's your favorite pink gremlin here. At the time of this video, the convention season of 2023 is in full swing, and I've had the chance to attend one entire convention as a vendor in the Artist Alley. And I realized it was probably time to make this video for anyone who was just as anxious and lost as I was a few years ago when I started vending. Anyway, hello everyone, my name is Candlehearts. I am a digital artist and a small business owner who occasionally tables at anime conventions and burdens the general public with my presence. There is no disclaimer in this video, as I am an expert in my field. I am a professional anime convention enjoyer, and therefore I will never make any mistakes, and all of my advice will apply to you directly. Obviously, that was all sarcasm. The following tips and tricks, as well as some must-haves, will prepare you for your first con experience as a vendor in the Artist Alley, or perhaps give you some insight into what being a vendor at a convention is like so you can gauge if you'd like to do it in the future. This will not be a comprehensive guide on what anime cons are like in general, but y'all let me know if you'd like a video on that in the future. So what's it like to be a vendor at the Artist Alley? In general, what should I expect? Well, I'm so glad you asked that question. Vending at an anime convention is not the same as attending. You are there to work, sell your wares, and make networking connections with your fellow creators. This means that if you're thinking you'll be able to attend a con, see your pals, and make money, you are incorrect. It will not be like that at all. Artist alleys tend to have long hours, meaning you will most likely miss big panels and events such as the masquerade and autograph signings, unless you have a partner that can completely take over your booth for those allotted time periods. There are also rules and informal etiquette in the Artist Alley that I'll get to later, but just know that attending a con does not equal tabling at a convention. It's more like a freelance gig rather than a fun little party or vacation. Now, every Artist Alley is different. Every convention has different rules. The very first thing you need to do when you're even thinking of applying to an anime convention Artist Alley is read their rules, FAQ, or any info they have on their website to see what they allow or don't allow in terms of products. A lot of bigger anime conventions nowadays do not allow fan art in most capacity, or they enforce a 50-50 rule or other some percentage, meaning your work must be some percentage of original work. Some cons disallow grab bags, loot bags, or blind bags, and some do not allow random things like stickers. Okay, Sen. You do what you gotta do, baby. Point being, look at your convention's FAQ for the Artist Alley or Marketplace and gauge whether your work is suitable to show. If it is, then move on to step 2, application. Wait, hold up. Did I say application already? Sorry, there's actually a whole bunch of other steps first, so please bear with me. These will seem redundant to some artists, but I'm trying to do my due diligence here and educate. Please get your products ready before the convention. Have a very good idea of what you will be selling, and by good idea, I mean the products are done and you have pictures to show. Most, if not all, Artist Alley Marketplace applications will require a portfolio or website of sorts, or a short description of what you'll be selling so they can judge whether they want you at their convention. This can be the hardest part depending on your situation. I'm a small business owner, so I have a website, storefront, and tons of product pictures already ready to go. You don't need to be a pro or own your own website or domain or anything, but creating an Etsy store or a card with a bunch of pics of your products will help you in the long run. So if you have your products and you have a website or storefront or an application portfolio to show the Artist Alley director, make sure their applications are open, and if not, set a reminder for when they do open. A lot of conventions also have their Discords for their marketplaces, or they post on social media when the apps are open, so make sure to do some research and schedule all your stuff. I keep all of my conventions organized in an Excel sheet within a Google Doc, so I can keep track of them all because it gets to be a lot if you do a lot of cons per year. I definitely recommend creating a short list or spreadsheet containing all of the convention names, when the convention takes place, if you applied successfully and when you applied, a place for acceptances or waitlisting and rejections, and also an indicator of when you paid for your table fee and how many helper badges you receive. If all of that sounded really confusing, here's a quick rundown of what your general application experience should look like. You look up the convention's website you want to apply to vend at. Applications are open, so you apply. These applications can be Google Forms or forms submitted by an email. It just kind of depends, but usually nowadays they're Google Forms. Put in all of your info, submit your form, and wait. In the meantime, I would start the spreadsheet we talked about earlier so you know when, if you applied, etc. You'll notice when you fill out the form what the table fee / total cost for vending will be. Some conventions include 2 badges with the table fee, and usually if you need more, you can buy them at a discount. You won't be charged until you get accepted, of course, so just budget accordingly. If everything goes smoothly, the Artist Alley department with that con will get back to you when they look over the applications with an acceptance or rejection / waitlist email. This doesn't always happen, however, and to be frank, you will most likely need to know the artist department's email and be okay with emailing them back and forth, either with questions or clarifications. Most convention staff are volunteers, and they have a full-time job that they have to deal with separately from the convention, so not everything goes according to plan. Patience will definitely be a virtue for you here. Well, wait, you mentioned a waitlist, right? So what is that? It's just like it sounds. A waitlist means you did not get into the artist alley, but you weren't rejected outright. The department head likes your work, but they reached table capacity and you didn't make the cut. You're essentially on standby if/when the other artists drop out or can't make the convention, and will be notified if the convention has a table free. You may be notified last minute of a table opening, so you need to decide for yourself if you're willing to suddenly change your plans within a few weeks' notice, or even the week of the convention, in my experience. Securing lodging for that time may be difficult, so if you're out of state or a long drive away, plan accordingly. Well, you've been accepted. What do you do now? Is it time to start panicking? No. First of all, celebrate. Anime conventions are so much more popular than they used to be, and the market is honestly extremely saturated as far as artists that apply to Vend go, so it's an accomplishment to be accepted into the marketplace. Now comes the prep work. Internal suffering. If you're a cosplayer, you're aware of the term con crunch. This usually refers to the period of 1 to 2 weeks before the convention where you scramble to put together that huge cosplay you've been putting off for months or years, and it is hugely stressful. Now take that and double it or triple it, and you have artist alley/marketplace crunch. If you have a storefront, you most likely have products already waiting, be it ready-made stock or leftovers. However, if this is your first time, you're going to need supplies, and these are not going to be cheap or fast. This shit is not hot, it is not ready. If you're just starting out, I would recommend looking up pictures of people's booths that sell similar things to what you want to sell. Most people use wire cube setups to build shelves, as they're easy to transport, but you may need something different if you want to sell prints or clothing. Doing some research on Google will help you solidify your setup and what you'll need. I'm not going to go over everything in depth, but here are some rapid fire things I do before every convention to ensure I'm prepared as far as products and supplies go. I personally make a lot of different things, and I make all of my products in-house. This means that manufacturing time isn't something I need to factor in for the most part, which means I often procrastinate a lot. During the month lead up to the convention, I check my inventory numbers. I make chokers, resin accessories, keychains, clothings, prints, stickers, and buttons, and I make sure I have a surplus of these before I call it good. It's way better to have a surplus of products than make too little, especially if you sell on other platforms such as Etsy. Make sure you have enough stock to fill your setup. This may mean ordering extra prints, making a bunch of buttons, sewing more plushies, whatever it is you do. Aside from products, you'll need a way to display them, so ordering supplies for that is key to making your setup look appealing. Choose things that vibe with what you make, and don't be afraid to get a little creative. I really love string lights, so I splurged on purchasing a few sets to make my booth look a little bit more fun and unique. Make sure all of your display items and products are easily transportable too. I recommend things that can break down or come apart and can easily fit into totes or bags. I would also highly recommend getting some sort of cart or dolly so you don't have to make multiple trips when loading in and out during setup. Carts made for tailgating or camping are super helpful, and they can usually collapse down into a manageable size for travel. So how do con goers know how much something is? It can be really tempting to leave everything blank so that they need to ask you for prices, but please do not do that. Spend some time thinking about signage. Tags, chalkboards, a piece of paper listing items with prices, and a frame. You can display prices in many different ways. It's up to you to experiment with how you do it and what works best for you. Just please don't leave things blank. It can get loud in the artist alley with all the people, and you will get tired of trying to remember prices, and you most likely will lose your voice on day one. Speaking of prices, how will I be taking payment? I hear you cry out in pain and misery. I would recommend setting up a Square account and purchasing one of their POS devices. Square allows you to take physical card purchases similar to PayPal. This is a service I personally use with my small business and it has worked perfectly for me. They keep track of sales and will give you some neat breakdowns at the end of the day, plus it helps when it comes to do your taxes. And no, I will not be getting into how you do your taxes as a freelancer or small business. Good luck and Godspeed to you. Also, business cards. Purchase a ton of business cards in advance. I've gotten a lot of customers and clients that take my card and contact me at a later date for customs or to buy from my online store. I usually buy 500 to 1,000 cards, but I do a lot of conventions in a year and also slide a card in with all of my online orders, so you might need less. Now, you will be stuck behind your booth for the majority of the day. Pack a water bottle, snacks, and potentially something to do during downtime. Knitting, crochet, a book, portable gaming console, etc., and definitely a phone charger. I personally recommend also packing something called Liquid IV, which is an electrolyte drink that saved me many times during conventions in general. Dehydration and stress headaches are not cool, so packing something that will help you feel a little bit better and avoid dehydration, maybe a few ibuprofen pills, are another personal recommendation. Now, if you aren't a list-making person, you should probably start becoming one, if only for vending. I would recommend keeping an active list of things you need to bring so you don't forget anything. Your fellow artists are usually very helpful, and if you forget scissors or tape or something, that's usually fine. But forgetting a crucial piece of your setup is a nightmare, and I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. Okay, I'm sure that I have everything. What happens on day one? To be honest, each convention experience is similar, but also different. Usually, the marketplace department head will email you with a schedule, including load in and load out times, as well as where load in, load out happens at the venue. Traditionally, artists and vendors are allowed to load in on Thursday, but that isn't true across the board, so you're going to have to check and plan accordingly. Whatever day load in time is, it'll be a bit of a cluster. A good exciting cluster, but it'll still be a lot. Lots of people will be scattered around a large room filled with tables. Your first goal should be to find staff and ask for your badges and where your table is. Sometimes the marketplace head will have a map or a table arrangement, sometimes it's first come, first serve. This is also probably a little late to mention this, but I highly recommend you bring a second person to help you at your table. Setting up, tearing down, and not to mention sitting for long hours unable to leave your booth is extremely difficult on your own. You can absolutely do it, I've done it before, but having a friend or helper that knows what they're getting into and bring you some food or watch the table when you need to use the restroom is a blessing. I think the rest is pretty self-explanatory. After you've set up and put all your product out for the upcoming days, arrive at the artist alley a bit before opening hours and sit back and enjoy. Get that bread and have fun meeting and talking with all the cool new artists you're about to meet. Now for the bonus section, marketplace etiquette. Above all, please be kind to others around you. You're going to share a space with these potential strangers for 3 days, so say hi. Introduce yourself to your neighbors when you both have a free moment and strike up a conversation. Being kind is pretty much all you have to do. Now let's get into what not to do. Do not go around the artist alley and pitch your wares to other people who are stuck at their table, unable to escape. This isn't to say that you would do this, but I've had this happen to me so many times and it's just kind of a yucky experience. Busking or playing salesperson to other artists is rude and inconsiderate. All of these people in the marketplace are just trying to work, so treat them like your coworkers, not potential sales or customers. Now with that being said, it is common to ask for trades with artists you like or have gotten to know. You like an artist's prints, they like your plushies, and they're roughly the same price. Instead of exchanging the same $20 bill, you exchange the items that you now have a cool print and they have a cool plush. Yay. Well, I'm sorry that was so much all at once, but TLDR, be prepared, make sure to drink water, make some cool friends, and have fun. If you're a new artist, I hope I helped you or you learned something today about vending. I try to be as broad and as general as possible. Thank you so much for watching and see y'all later. Bye!